Where's the love? Where's the love? It's right here in the heart of the city. I'm Silas Grant, and I got my man with me.
What's up, home?
TL, what's up?
Man, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Feeling good today. What's up with you, man?
I'm doing good, man. It's a nice day outside today.
Beautiful day, Jack.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this time of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my time of
You
the
should
year. You know what I'm saying? That's that time to split up. Yeah, it jumped up an hour. You know?
For the audience, man, I'm laughing because it's not a foreign thing to get a text from Tone. Like I'm at Union Market,
Try to tell
sitting
you.
outside,
Enjoying the man.
about 6 hours.
Yeah, man. You know it's the office,
You be
man.
holding court over there.
Yeah, there's no question,
But
man.
you're not the mayor over there. Still the mayor over
Og
there.
Block.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Block.
Og.
Yeah,
that's
Union
it.
Market, a.k.a. Og Block.
A.K.A. Og Block.
Yeah.
Shout out to Og. Hey, man, matter of fact, on that note, too, man, just shout out to all the Muslims.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
In the District of Columbia and across the world.
This is day
2 of Ramadan.
Day 2 of Ramadan, yeah.
Yeah, man. So shout out to y'all, man, and may this Ramadan bring you closer to Allah. And yeah, man, I wish you luck on Ramadan.
So, I intermittent fast, right?
Yeah.
But I got to admit, in the last couple of months, I found myself breaking fast earlier sometimes, right? And not even for a justified reason, but it's ironic that this coincides with Ramadan because over the weekend, I was like, you know what? You got to really commit to not breaking it before 6. Even if it's 5:42, stop.
Yeah.
Go back to your 6.
Yeah.
And what I found, bro, is that in the last couple of days where I really just got back to like, man, don't eat before 6. I also have not been in a rush to right at 6:01 or 6 to eat. And I found myself, it brings me a certain level of calm that past 6 p.m., like if I'm waiting to 7 for whatever reason, the food ain't ready yet or whatever the case may be,
Right.
I found a certain like peace that's come over me that previously when I was cutting early, it wasn't there. And when I thought about it and then seeing the folks, my Muslim brothers and sisters doing Ramadan, it was like, man, you know what? This fasting thing is not just about health, but it's really about wellness and peace of mind. Because here's the thing, Tone, you know this. It ain't like you never gonna eat again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gonna eat again.
That's the way to look at it.
You know what I mean? And it's just like,
I ain't made it to 6 the last 2 days, but not for real though. But I told definitely ain't make it there today. But that I was gonna do some intermittent fasting through this period. You know what I'm saying? So at least yesterday and today, I did good at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to do it. You know what I mean, for the rest of the duration. I ain't probably going to sundown, but I also said I'm gonna try to get up. Or I'm gonna try to mirror it as close, just to show some solidarity with with the good men and women. You know what I'm saying?
I always think about when Elijah Wan was in the finals. You remember that?
Yeah.
I always think about that every year.
Yeah.
Just the fact that he was playing in a major game and he was able to raise awareness around it too.
Sure.
Using his position.
It was definitely an education.
Yeah, education. Yeah.
For people, there's so much information these days that we kind of forget when things weren't so accessible.
Right.
As far as information. So you really learn things differently. Now people like us, we knew people that were Muslim, right? So that wasn't necessarily so much of a revelation for us, but for America. You understand what I'm saying? And then even but let me tell you something else. I think what Elijah Wan captured was sort of this dynamic of like people not understanding that like West Africans were Muslim. You understand what I'm saying? East Africans, people, I think that's not a revelation for people, right? Or countries, Northern Africa.
Right.
People get it.
Understood, yeah.
Libya, Morocco, you know what I'm saying? Algeria, all them places, right? But for Elijah Wan to be Nigerian and to be, I think it brought that different level of awareness into of how widespread Islam was. And anyway, I just think that kind of stuff in those days and, even when and it was like a thing of like people Nobody really said people converted it. Like if somebody was like Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, who was Chris Jackson, and when he converted to Islam, people was he the term Muslim. Like, it was like it was just different, you know what I'm saying? Hey, the term Muslim. You know what
it was almost like, and this is not to trivialize his conversion, but to trivialize people's perception of it.
For
sure. But the comparison for me was like when you watch wrestling and a guy turned bad.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how they treated him.
That's like that's what I'm saying.
You turn villain.
Yeah, you turn villain. You know what I mean? That's how America was, I think, in those times. So anyway, I think we come a long way. Not to say it ain't no semblance of that today.
Well, Sean King just converted.
Yeah, but this is the thing about Sean and his wife converting. I think, but for Sean kind of has this villainous, you like a love hate, people love him or hate him type of thing. So I think it's advantageous for people to like sort of,
good point,
paint, that. But yeah, but yeah, shout out to all the Muslims in the world today, and I mean through this period of Ramadan. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, I'm just I'm grateful for the brothers and sisters that I have that practice, and family members that practice Islam, and all of the things that I've been able to glean from them, and learn from them. You know what I'm saying? During periods of Ramadan or just in general. So shout out to y'all, man.
You mentioned a few minutes ago when we were referencing Hakeem Olajuwon that was a different time period with respect to access to information. And a part of that, or a lot of that, comes from the World Wide Web being at our fingertips now.
Yeah.
And things we take for granted today, again, they weren't as accessible in that 1993, 1994 period, which is 30 years ago now, right? Crazy enough. A part of that is not just us going and getting information, but as regular citizens, we actually have an ability to contribute to information because everything we put on the web is now data that others can access, right? And so for me, looking back, I would say my first time period on the web as a contributor may have been like Black Planet, right? Which is almost 25 years ago. So, on that planet, man. On that planet, man.
What you was doing on that joke, man?
Everybody had a profile, man. See.
I wasn't outside yet, man.
The tail end of Black Planet was what you talking about.
I don't know, because I missed that whole way. I was outside. You know what I mean? I wasn't outside on there, but I was outside. So I missed, for real, I missed that whole wave. But go ahead. I heard about y'all on that joke, though.
Now it turned wild, but I'm talking about the early stages before it was just,
That's it. But for real, I was, bruh, that MySpace, like I missed that. Yeah. I missed that whole thing. Was crazy. Real quick, just to that, right? I was my man D Watkins, right? My brother Baltimore.
Yep.
So D and he got his book, the B-side. And the B-side, it's like a series of essays. So he got to join like 2 Poor for Pop Culture. And yeah,
I can see where this going.
It's your hard because it really point. So my point, I mean, I wasn't too poor to be on the internet or to have a Black Planet account. But the people a lot of people that I was around were, and a lot of people that I was around, we literally I did not hear about. I did not know what that was. Yeah. Now, I don't care how crazy that may sound to some people. That's not like something I'm like, but I'm saying I think about
what it was.
How
it was a wall.
It's a wall. Yeah. And for like, and even for things like, even what's so crazy though, even today where everybody has basically a computer in their hand, if you're talking about like a smartphone, there's still information that me and you may see as being so commonplace
that they just
that person ain't got no clue what's happening, dog.
But as you were talking, I realized Black Planet was not my first time contributing to the web. Actually, it was PA Palace. PA Palace had a message board. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. So
now, I know. Of course, I know what PA Palace was.
So what they did was they had a website where they would have a listing of CDs they were selling, right?
Yeah.
But then they had a message board that was like really oriented around like go-go. This like 97, 98, right? To that point of like you not knowing about it.
That's crazy.
At one point in time, and this is what I'm getting at with this, why I was laughing earlier as you were talking, was because there was this population of people that was like, I ain't no internet nigga.
Yeah.
That was a thing.
Yeah, for real.
You know? And, but that's how they would respond,
Yeah.
right? And I guess the thing that was so awkward was that those of us who were sort of like in the virtual space and also in real life, if you met somebody on there, right? Like just people that also contribute in chat, you might meet them in public one day and you might be with your real friends.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain how you know them because they like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But now it's not.
Yeah, now that's people might know you more from like
Instagram now.
Instagram people,
you meet them first.
Yeah, people call people by their Instagram name, not their real name. All of that. It's a different.
But it was a different frontier back then.
Listen.
Different.
See, that's like I wouldn't, man.
Yeah.
That's so is that art? Like, can you find like?
So what happens is
what was your handle?
So
you know his handle, freaky side. It's like, hey, cuz if we research that joke,
freak meal.
Sam Street side, man. That'd be crazy. And then pull shorty up, man.
No, they got different. I think they had different web hosts. Sometimes they would have to convert over. You know, just I mean, but yeah,
bro. You know, I'm gonna tell you that. I know
that's 25 years ago.
Look, dog. Do you know? I still remember how amazed I was. My man, Fat Man. Fast the first dude from around our way. Fast like 2 years older than us. To go to college, right?
I remember you talking about him before.
Fast.
He played in the band or something,
He played
right?
in the band, yeah. Fast with the John C. Smith. But Fast, I remember, what was the junk called? What was the music junk called? Napster?
Yep.
Remember that junk?
Yeah.
Remember Fast showed us Napster because Bonnie had the...
You could download the songs.
Yeah. Bonnie had the computer because my aunt was working from home when that junk first became like when you could work from home. Type shit. She had Net Zero. You remember Net Zero?
Yeah.
The dial-up internet jump.
You had to try to order pizza. She on the internet.
Cause I'm the only person around our way. I had internet, but ain't that I had access to it in my aunt's house. You know, my aunt lived down the street, but I ain't know how to use it. So when Fast come on, Fast pull up the Napster jump. I'm like, damn, you could download. You know, that was mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about going to Gonzaga and all that. I remember having like classmates. They used to be in the library. We had the computers and all that. But I just would never. I'd be right there, like, you know, I go to the school, but I never engage with that. I'm like, I ain't doing that. Like you said, I ain't doing that computers. Like, that's crazy how your
people took pride in that, right?
Facts.
But going back to the original thing, right?
Yeah. I took
we 25 years of, you know, contributing to the internet, right? Like as a person, like, and I think we don't often look at it like that. Like we're contributors to
each of us,
right?
And what you put out there,
it's out there.
Yeah,
it's out there. And you know, as I think about, you mentioned Elijah Wan and us not having access, and now we do, and we're now contributing. Like as you think about, what would you say you've been contributing online? Maybe 20 years?
2010.
Oh, you're not even a dub yet.
Nah. 2010.
So you didn't have a Facebook before 2010?
No. I'm trying to tell you. I ain't playing.
You was Hey.
Living
off the land.
I'm living on
You was off the grid for real.
What they say, real live street. It's like I'm just playing. Nah, but for real. Patrice when Patrice first person I ever, you know, worked with from like a PR lens. And when we first started trying to we did the Son of Life doc, you know what I mean, and trying to promote it. She was like, yo, you ain't got nothing. Let me help you set up she set
I remember this.
Yeah, real
I remember this.
Same about the same time I met you. Like we started doing it. She set me up the Twitter and the Facebook, and I forget her little cousin name, but she she went into PR as well. You know what I'm saying? And I remember them, that's what a Mr. Tony Lewis Jr. I done had the same because Tony Lewis or Tony Lewis Jr. or whatever was taken. I remember the whole process. I'm like, how this stuff work? You know what I mean? Twitter, Facebook. So I was a novice for real. Like I didn't know how to, and it's crazy that I would, become that has become such a powerful tool for me. You know what I'm saying? But I really was a novice, bro. I was a virgin to the internet and to social media and all that stuff. Yeah, but 2010, straight up. Twitter and Facebook.
I don't think at that time. I remember Patrice working with you because that was you not a get the keys to somebody else kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I remember you giving the keys and how reluctant you were, right?
Very much.
But
so.
I didn't realize that was your first time on.
My first time.
I didn't realize that.
Bro. I wasn't on any of that stuff. But the craziest part, I had heard of Facebook. But I literally had never even heard of Twitter, bro. That may sound crazy to some people, but I just didn't. You understand what I'm saying? Then when I got on the jump, I didn't know how to I knew how to say what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to engage on it, if that makes sense.
Got you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could definitely get my thoughts, and that's what I appreciated out the break. I was like, dang, I can, you know what I'm saying? And I was big on tweeting or posting on Facebook like lyrics from songs that I liked, and I still do that. I mean, but so like on Instagram, like now we in the space of like the caption. But I was like, people use lyrics for caption. But that's all I used to like post.
Typing lyrics,
to represent, how I was feeling or what I was aiming at or whatever the case may be. So yeah, dog. So that I'm what's that?
Almost 15.
Almost 15 years.
So as a contributor, with that amount of time, under your belt, there's probably tweets we could pull up that both you and I cannot even remember typing, right?
I saw a few Facebook memories. Because I lost like a lot of my pictures from like when the girl, especially when Izzy was little. So I try to check the Facebook memories every day, like to get back some pictures.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? On my phone, you know what I mean? But I be looking back at some of the some of my posts. Like, damn, I said that. Yeah. Or it could be a lyric, but I'm like, damn, I wrote that. I was like, that was wild. That's another thing, wasn't it? It might have been a little, I would never, some of that stuff, like, nah, I wouldn't have did that today. Like,
do you ever look back and wonder, like, man, I was tripping so much I could have been canceled?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I think naturally, I ain't no wild, I'm not a wild, like, just, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, something I saw the other day, I was like, damn, I wrote that. I don't think I would have got canceled for it, but absolutely, it was in poor, I would have saw it to be in poor taste. You understand what I'm saying? Or somebody could have been offended or like, why would you post that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like over, I'm not that type of dude, but I think that even though terminology though that we may use in just or culturally, where we come from, that at that time I might not have recognized how offensive it might be to other people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I probably never would have necessarily wrote that, but I could see me saying things, that I know might would have got me canceled today. You know what I'm saying?
Do you recall when or the first person who was canceled? Because I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank. Like, what period was it?
Well, it depends.
Because it's two things. It is being canceled for your actions off the phone, or being canceled for something you said.
Yeah,
it's two different things.
I remember the first person. Well, the thing that come to mind. Remember the wild dude from Seinfeld? What's his name?
Yeah,
who said nigga or whatever in one of his comedies.
That is kind of early. Yeah,
that's like early. That's the one that really pops out. Like, it's to me, like I'm just sitting off the cuff, like thinking about, like, damn, who got canceled?
Because that was early in the recording process too.
Sure. Well, like, Michael, whatever his name is. Yeah, I think his name. But yeah, I think about him. But then and like during the pandemic, I think that's like sort of real evolution of what we would really consider like cancel culture, all that stuff, the pandemic, the Black Lives Matter movement, the Me Too movement, all of these things that were going on.
Also, the woke culture too.
Well, I think that birthed the woke. But I think that I see the woke culture as responsive to BLM and Me Too. And
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I would say the whitewash version of wokeness was introduced then, because honestly, I think wokeness got hijacked by mainstream America. Because remember, back when we were kids, they were talking about the third eye and stay woke.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Nah, right. Right. But I'm talking about the whitewash version.
The whitewash version, yeah.
So yeah, for black people, I think that probably been that's generational. That's going back.
Yeah, that predates us.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts, because we have to stay woke.
Yeah.
You understand
what
I'm
I
saying?
think is an important thing to differentiate in this conversation, because now you're seeing woke culture be beat down by like right-wing conservatives.
Yeah, it's got appropriated.
But they're fighting the appropriated version. They're not even fighting the
the real. Yeah, for sure. And the what's unfortunate is the same thing that drove our ancestors to share information with each other about where to go and where not to go, to encourage their children, when they left the house or when people traveled, to stay woke. You know what I mean? That's very real today. And so for people to kind of like throw a lot of this other stuff in the pot and call it woke, which then in turns makes people like disregard the realities of why, we it was shared amongst our people to stay woke, right? As if that don't exist no more. So I think that is definitely important to note. You know what I mean? And to my people, stay woke. Yeah, you hear me? Like for real. And so, but yeah, I think, but in lieu of when people call for changes, and now you to disarm those movements, you know what I mean? To disarm those advancements, people on the far right are saying they consider everything wrong. So DEI, Me Too, LGBTQIA, Black Lives Matter, anything they can do to discount those things, right? And so when people speak out about blacks, about people from the LGBTQIA community, we speak out against Jews, speak out against Muslims, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times speak down on women, whatever, you know what I mean? They say all of that is, so they jump ahead, all of that is people being woke. But like, as if it shouldn't be no consequences. And this is America, right? First Amendment, people should be able to say what they want to say, right? But I think what happens, what people got to understand, I feel, is it's sort of like, if your words don't have impact, and some people will say all words have impact, right? But if you're in a position of power, if you're in a position where what you think, what you say, and what you think, or I mean, in terms of what you do, can hurt other people, you understand what I'm saying? Then your weapon, like it's not just free speech. You know what I mean? It's not just for you have more responsibility than that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I don't like the hot mic moments though. I don't like the hot mic moments, bro. Like I don't. And some people say, well, man, no, that just show you really like how people think, but not all the time. Now if it's on some race shit, man, but I'm saying people say things to their friends jokingly.
And the conversation, I can say something to you. I was tempted to say something on camera about you with the internet, but I knew it would have went over wrong to the audience.
Yeah, see? And see,
just 5 minutes ago, I was going to say something, but like they don't understand how you and I, that wouldn't have been appropriate for an audience larger than you and I, maybe a couple other people who get it.
Exactly.
It would have sounded crazy if I said what I was thinking I was going to say.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't tell them, Si. Right. It's like, nah, but for real. And I think, I try to get that, my point though, I try to get that grace to other people, especially when it's in those like sort of hot mic situations. Now, I'm not saying about everything about like, I hate niggas or some shit like that, right? That's not what I mean, right? If somebody, but I mean, at the end of the day though, it's like, nah, people talk amongst themselves and to their friends. Like, I think that I extend that grace. So when we start talking about I'm saying that to say, when we start talking about cancel culture, I think when anything goes too far, it loses its impact, right? You can't cancel people for everything. Yeah. Right? Some things have to be teachable moments. You understand what I'm saying? Like some, you know what I mean? Some things, because then you kind of help the people that are not trying to hold people. You help them because they say, "Oh, see, look, they're going too far. See, that's why." So now they don't anything that comes along with this racist or bigoted or whatever. Now they saying, "No, it's not racist. It's not bigoted. It's just these people with this DEI. Everything. You see what I'm saying?" And I think that's kind of what happened in America, right? It was again. It continues to be it's no sort of middle ground. It's like it's people either all the way over there or all the way over here. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything ain't to be canceled, but at the same time, what the reality is for black people, I feel, right? We can't cancel nobody anyway. I mean, and I think that for real becomes sort of the speaks back to like the bigger issues. Well, how can we cancel somebody? How can we cancel somebody when we don't own nothing to cancel nobody? We don't own nothing nobody need. You know what I'm saying? That's why we the Kaepernick thing with the NFL. I'm just thinking about the things, some of the, we can boycott and, you tell me don't, we might say, don't say this. I'm just saying hypothetically, like if we said something about something that Nestle owned or something, I don't know, or Pepsi owned, you might say don't nobody drink Pepsi, but I drink Aquafina. Cause I ain't aware of Pepsi. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. So yeah, I be thinking about that though. But back to I have not always agreed with like who got canceled. Like when the Clippers owner, I thought that was like, remember the Clippers owner?
But he got $2 billion for selling the team.
Yeah, I know, right?
He came up.
He can't lose. But I'm just saying,
he got $2 billion.
You cannot, right?
No, Tony, he got $2 billion.
Yeah, I know. You can't hurt him.
For selling the team. They forced him out and he got $2 billion.
He got $2 billion. On something, you remember the bought the Clippers for like, I mean, something short.
Definitely short, yeah.
Comparative to that.
Like they ain't take the team. They just said, we tired of you looking like you with us.
What was it, Sterling?
Sterling, yeah. And then when he, but again, he talked about certain prominent black people and asked the question publicly, what have they done for the blacks? He asked that question.
For the blacks.
For the blacks. What have they done? That was how he posed it. He called out one of our most prominent people. It was like, what has he done?
Yeah. The blacks be funny too.
Yeah.
When they bang that.
Yeah, when they bang that, it's over.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. I saw. And it's not funny, right? But it is in a way. I saw Trump had a speech recently was saying the blacks should like what, like when they say that about us like that, the blacks. Like we don't say the whites. Yeah. Like we might say white people, but like the blacks. Yeah. Like it's just we're like and all of them. That's like saying like the blacks, and each and every one of them are like the exact same person. You know what I'm saying? They think the same, eat the same, walk the same. You know what I'm saying? That's how I receive that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so when Sterling said that's what he meant too.
That's what he meant, yeah.
That's what he meant.
Going back to something you said a few minutes ago about being online and saying things that can get you canceled. From my vantage point, Twitter seemed like the first platform where it really felt as if whatever you were saying was going out into the deep abyss. And we don't know who saw it, who didn't see it, right? For me, it felt like it was different than a MySpace or a Black Planet or a Facebook.
Yeah.
It felt different.
Yeah.
with that being
That's a
said,
great point.
yeah, like it's like
Your tweet could travel. You felt like your tweet could definitely
it could
travel.
just go, it
further.
just go way further,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think about that in the context of this conversation, and I'm just thinking about the work that you and I do with people who are coming online, not just on platforms, but coming online as far as living and assimilating into, regular culture, right? And, how do you help them? How do you get them to take heed to, man, whatever you say can really go further than what you...
And that is out there forever. And as we came into the space writing, or like our words, a lot of them coming into the space with like video content
and memes and things that you're reposting.
Yes. So what you're sharing and the video you're making, you're going live.
And then guess what they say?
You're talking.
Guess what they say? You don't know me. You know my Instagram.
Yeah, you what? Don't yeah, like
that's you. Who typed it? Whose face is in that video is you.
And all that, like the this whole idea that the virtual world is a world aside from the real world, right? Yeah. And I get that on a lot of levels, but listen, to me, they're not separate.
I've told this story in a lot of classes I teach, and I've said it maybe publicly, but I'll say it here. There's a young man that I know that was working a job, and I was to some degree mentoring him to some degree, right? He was working a job, and it was a pretty good job now, and definitely was a good job for him at the time, over a decade ago, right? Mm-hmm. And it just so happened that before I realized he had that job at that location, a very good friend of mine was running the entire department of that particular situation. I didn't know my young guy was working there at the time because we had kind of lost contact, and then we regained contact, and he told me where he was at. I was like, "Dang, my man run that whole junk, right? A peer.
Right.
This guy maybe 15 years younger than us. Right. Instagram, and he had a picture up, and I won't go into details, but it was a very alarming picture. So much so I picked the phone up and called him like, you got to take that down.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy part about it. We follow each other on Instagram. My guy, who's my peer and a good friend of mine, follows me on Instagram. It is not uncommon for my guy to leave a comment on my page, a like, or to look at the comments of what I got going on. It's not uncommon for the guy I was mentoring to jump in the comments. What if y'all cross paths in the comments, he click on your page and he saw that photo?
Sure.
And I had to walk through that whole scenario. Yep. And for the record, this job, there was a potential for a clearance. He hadn't gotten there yet. So I'm telling him, and I'm telling a lot of other guys that I do these classes with, is that like my peer group are the people now doing the hiring, right? We're in our mid-40s. We've ascended to that position, right? And we're much more in tune than the 40-year-olds were 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I walk into these presentations and I make references, and they're like, "How you know about that?" Like, what you mean? How I know about that?
Facts. How you know about it? The same way
the same way you know about it, right? So, that example is a crystal clear one that, man, people are watching.
Yeah, man, you better believe it. And I think that also has I did understand that from the jump, even though I got in the social media game sort of late or whatever, but I did understand that at least. Like, that's why I'm saying I don't know if it's anything out there too crazy that I'm like worried somebody pull up some old tweets, knock on wood. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, shit, I don't know, but I just never went there. I rather talk to my friends than to get on there and go. You know what I mean? But I want people to understand, like, the content that you put out there, for so many people, I think the context is people aren't thinking that far. They're not thinking about the one day they may be trying to get a job or you may start a business and want to do business with somebody or want, you know what I mean? They don't understand how somehow you showing up online can impact doors you don't even know you might can go through.
Yeah, I seen young guys sign record deals and they was talking about the guy that they was about to sign to.
Yeah.
Way back on it.
Yeah, now he bro.
Yeah, he bro, yeah.
Now he bro, but you was talking crazy about him. Ain't know him from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And you know, again, I think some people get grace around them things, but not so much. And so be careful. Like really be careful, man. What you do, what you say, that and those things that people are doing and showing and saying, quote unquote, online. Yeah, it's gonna be it's in that courtroom. Yeah. So you can't tell me that that's just the internet.
Yeah, you don't know me. You just know my gram. Now we know you.
Telling you more than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So people got to be aware of that, and I think, you know, in the same vein, you know, when we talk about cancel culture, a lot of the people that got canceled, especially in recent times, came from something that they tweeted or something that they, you know, posted, something that they liked. You know, it might not even be something that they reshared. It wasn't their like original content.
Yeah, that happened to she didn't get canceled, but she was under a lot of pressure. Was it Jennifer Aniston? I remember she came out. She simply liked something.
Yeah, but that was something, and wasn't that regarding? I don't know if it was Jennifer Aniston, but I know a lot of people. You know, people was watching when the attack on Israel happened.
Yeah.
I know like Gigi Hadid.
I know Jamie Foxx made a comment. He said that it had nothing to do with what was going on in the Middle East, but he said basically, if they killed Jesus, why wouldn't they persecute you?
Oh, and they turned it into he was saying that.
I think she liked that. Yeah, she liked that.
Yeah,
one.
and I think he was saying it in just though. But in the hood, we say that shit.
So that was it.
They killed Jesus.
That was the explanation, like
not they being like
particular.
Jews.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Just saying, people turn on you. They turn on. You know what I mean?
And I think what people justified it and supported him and saying, listen, if you've been to a black church at 11 o'clock on Sunday, you done heard that phrase before.
It's no question.
Yeah.
It's no question.
And speaking of that, faith-based people have been canceled. Jeremiah Wright was probably one of the ones early on.
And
what's crazy is the things he said then have now become more
like acceptable.
More acceptable.
You might won't get canceled, but then also he was weaponized against the big fish.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I mean that's it really was more about Obama and his like where he was going than really what he said. And Obama had to in order to that's the other thing I think and it's crazy because it's like you don't ever want your success to force those around you to have to like tap dance. And I don't mean tap dance for other people, but just like walk on eggshells and be careful about what they do. But in some ways, depending on who the person is, yes. And look, this is a note to those that are around somebody that has like they may already be there, right? Or that going somewhere. Man, for real, man. Think about that.
Don't be leaving them wild comments on your page.
Yeah, man, don't sink the ship, man. Don't make don't make the person have to, man, for real. And you gotta think too. And then it's like, look what you just said, right? Look what you just said, like about certain things that like God bless everybody. I don't be tripping, but it's like sometimes it's certain certain things text me. Yeah. Don't put because people treat your page like they treat their own page.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's certain conversations that we definitely can have, but if you know me enough to text me, do that.
Just do that, yeah.
Do that, man. Don't or at least
sometimes people are leaving what they consider to be compliments and it's just awkward.
Yeah.
Like don't say to me that I should run for a particular person's seat, and I got a relationship with that person. You think I'm gonna reshare that story?
I can't.
I can't do that
because then that make it seem like I'm
endorsing it.
Like I appreciate you seeing me that way,
but I can't endorse that publicly.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
We all right, man. I can't. You know what I'm saying? This person a complete stranger to you, and that's fine.
But yeah, I'm not there with that person.
I'm not that man, that person. All right,
yeah.
man. Like, and I ain't that also like people would think like, now we sit around and talk about that. We don't talk about that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but it's just, you know, it be in good faith. So, you know, again, we saying it's in jest, but I'm just thinking if whether it's us or anybody, just be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's all about how you showing up online. You know what I'm saying? You know, I've always tried to like be authentic though. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's how we try to be authentic, but also being aware. Just being aware, you know, because we live in a time too where people, I don't care, man. I'm gonna say whatever I want. That's fine. I say whatever I want too, but like it's a time and a place for everything though.
You know, authentic is an interesting word, especially in this context of social media and the fact that we have the backspace button to edit and make it right. Mm-hmm. You can go to Italy and get authentic spaghetti, authentic Italian pizza, but it's prepared.
Yeah.
It's cooked. It's not the raw ingredients. You're not sitting there eating raw pepperoni and raw cheese and raw dough, right? Even though it's authentic, it's still a preparation.
Correct.
So you can still present yourself in an authentic way, but you've got to be presented
so somebody can digest you.
It's got to go through the fire a bit so they can digest you, right? So they don't throw up when you.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So they can digest
you. So it's still, I think, with authenticity, we think it's just raw. You know, a guy told me this years ago. He said, whenever somebody says to me, I say what's on my mind, he tells them that's a childish trait. Children do that.
Hello.
I say what's on my mind. Yeah, a child does that.
Facts.
Adults don't do that.
No, because it's a responsibility.
There's a refining process that goes with all your communication.
There's no question about it. There's no question about it. And then people also got to understand that, like, you know, your audience is not their audience sometimes.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And so the person got to be able to communicate to a broader spectrum of people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you know, when I think about people getting canceled or the first of all, let me say this. Oh, yeah, my man can't be canceled. Yeah.
Who?
Well, they white. Yeah. Yeah, my man, bad man. Yeah, people, yeah, stop playing with him. Yeah, they can't cancel my man. Yeah, you cancel my dog. Yeah, you know, don't stand and do something. They try to get, but my man, what I really mean though is, there can be bad head. Because somebody who like, you know, a prominent person. We all make mistakes, faux pas, whatever. But there could be bad headlines, right? But the bad headlines cannot erase service and impact.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, like, some things that other politicians would have been like, I'm talking about out of here. Local ordinary, it would have been out of here. But the service and the impact, you know what I mean? And I see some real similarities in terms of like, and this dude, he be wild. He be throwing me off for real. And I'm going to say that he be throwing me off. I ain't no disrespect to him, but some of his things he said, you know what I mean, just be throwing me off. I ain't saying he should get canceled, but he be throwing me off. But Kanye West. But, and and I see Trey, and it's like, when what he does is being, you can't teach that. You know what I mean? How he does, you can't teach that. That's genius, right? It's something that's like God given, and like for Kanye, his God given ability, right? And I think people are more offended by him sometimes because he knows it. You know what I mean? Like he understands, like. Mm-hmm. You know, and I remember, I forgot, like early on, what's that jump? I forgot what song it was, but he'd be like, man, I used to say these niggas that much better than me. Right. Ain't nobody really better than him. Yeah. He's always known that. You know what I mean? And so for him to like had his #1 album and not putting it on like the streaming platforms and all that, like it
did a
really,
$7 million ad on Super Bowl, just him and the phone in the car. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to have the loyalty of people that have been impacted by him for however they see. You know what I'm saying? Like that's undeniable in that way. You know what I'm saying?
I think people that are in that space though, where they're super gifted, they know what they're doing, they don't care what anybody thinks, they're super focused. I mean, you could look at a person like Elon Musk too in that space, right? Just don't care, right?
Correct.
What people think. They got a vision, they got a product, they got a service they're giving, they make impact. And those three names you named are three different people, right? The commonality is that they just really super focused on what they're trying to get done. But with that being said,
and really good at it,
right?
Yeah.
And I think with that being said, what other people, again, we're talking about billions of people contributing to online data through posts. You're not Elon Musk in every instance, right?
Right.
And I'm saying you loosely. I'm talking about the person who's on the phone. So you have to really be careful if that becomes the standard for how you communicate. Elon can do that, or Trayon can do that, or Kanye can do that, or Donald Trump can do that.
Now, yeah, and they can do that where they are
right now. But maybe you aren't at that point. Because what happened with Trump is that he came right after Obama's presidency, where for us as black people, he represented royalty, he represented like decorum, all these things we were trying to like instill in our kids of like how to behave. And then all of a sudden, this guy Trump comes in, and I heard parents say at that time, it was hard to raise my kids knowing that the leader of the free world, I'm telling you to be quiet, I'm telling you to act a certain way, but the person they see on TV the most is doing whatever he wants to do.
Follow not one rule.
Not one rule.
And I think, you know, and speaking of like he got canceled he got removed, right? He got removed from social platforms.
Yeah.
Right? So he started his own. Just think about it.
But he in position to do that.
That's my point. That's my point. Like you can't compare yourself. I'm saying you can't compare yourself to that. You know what I mean? Because if you get fired from your job, right? Let's say, you know, or if you get removed from society, we're talking about the type different things we talk about the people we work with, right? If your freedom gets stuck, because that's the canceling where we come from, or you get killed. That's the type of canceling that happens where we come from. But I think the same sort of like ideology should apply. You know what I mean? Be careful how you show up. Like, be careful what you say, be careful what you do. And that doesn't mean not being who you are, but like give thought.
Yeah, give thought.
Give thought to things before you decide that this what I'm gonna do or this what I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? That's the thing is like, and even with the Trump thing, I don't, in terms of his removal, I don't even see like, you know, the January 6th thing it was the main driver. You know what I'm saying? Of that. You know what I mean? Like
that was a real instance where you said it very early on in the conversation where a verbal command weaponized a country.
Exactly, bro. Where it wasn't just words. You cannot just, because when you say things trying to invoke something and knowing you're aware that's a possibility. Yeah. You know what I mean? You have to be accountable to that. You can't like use, you know, the First Amendment as like a crutch. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's a fine line. And I think, you know, I mean, a constitutionalist would probably challenge me there, you know, which I would understand. But I don't, you know, you often talk about the founding fathers, right, and what they thought, right. So we left to just interpret. I don't think though that the founding fathers wanted to. It was about us to be able to challenge our government. You know what I'm saying? That was about fundamentally that you could speak out when the leaders of our country or city or county or state, right, or community were not honoring their duty. You understand what I'm saying? That you weren't silenced as a citizen. And that's what made this joint a democracy, right? But Not that you could just say things that would potentially risk people's lives.
But the founding fathers could have never imagined that 360 million people in the United States, any of them can contribute to the conversation like we can now.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I mean, back then, everybody couldn't even vote. Women couldn't vote. Nobody non-white could vote back then, right? So you talk about holding people accountable in government. It was a government that only elected white men and a government that was only voting, only white men were voting.
100%.
So, you know, the constitutionalists that you would potentially, you know, hypothetically have a conversation with, what we're talking about now, the ability for me to just go on my phone and contribute, they couldn't have envisioned that.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. Not in their wildest dreams.
You're not in their wildest dreams.
Not in their wildest dreams. And but what is that? Is everything, you know, is any issue, and any issue that's challenged in our judicial system, or that goes to court through suits or whatever, it's going to, you know, they're going to elevate to the highest court. If it gets there, will be the Supreme Court. And typically, I mean, obviously the Supreme Court looks at, what do they call it? Legal precedents, or cases, you know, other cases, right? But the thing they always revert back to, though, is the Constitution.
Yeah,
you know
if all else fails, yeah.
If all else fails, you know what I mean? And I wonder, I mean, I think about, they've had to interpret that social media's ability to remove users, or you know, other things about like these apps responsibility and these bullying, you know, all that stuff kind of, you know, is ironic, but it's like the framers, like, I mean, this document in this country, everything kind of finds its way back there, and it's going to be really, really interesting. I mean, as we go to see if they say that a president is immune, right? That's the next. I mean, they voted to keep Trump. The states couldn't keep Trump off the ballot. Because again, that's another form of canceling. He got like, you know what I mean? It was about the insurrection. But my point is, naysayers to those type of moves, I think they attribute that to council culture. You know what I mean? Like, you know, to woke culture. Oh my God, look, you know, all that, it was just a protest, and, you know, all that. These woke left, that's what they saying. That's really the rhetoric. So it's like, it's really, really rooted in what we talking about. Like, and I think this is going to be that decision. I think we also, because the Supreme Court probably does not want to. I mean, we through, you know, last few years we talking about the legitimacy of the court, da. But I think this particular thing is like, well, first you got they don't want to politicize the court in that way, but this is gonna be, I mean, but you got a 6-3 court. Not saying that, you know, all conservative judges are gonna vote that way, but bro, the likelihood that Roberts might, you know,
You might get a 5-4, but
yeah,
go
bro,
the other way.
Oh man,
That's gonna be a lot.
That's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be a lot.
But I don't know if we talk about the Constitution though, right? That's what I was going into. When we talk about going back to the Constitution now, and if it's like these purists, if that's what they claim to be, like, where does it say in the Constitution, right? And it may be something that could be inferred to say that the president is immune, right? But then there's also, like we're talking the 14th Amendment, all that stuff is there. If you have a treasonous act, right, then you won't be allowed, you know. But I think that's gonna be what's gonna be left up to interpretation. If he has not been convicted yet, but I don't know if that's still the same question of immunity, though. I don't think it says anywhere in the Constitution that the President of the United States is immune, because that would be almost anti-American, right? And what I mean by that is the foundation of this country was that the the president is not a king.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We broke away from it because of that. That we don't have a monarchy, right? So a king, where the president is a citizen.
Yeah, America is an entity, it's an idea, right? It's a jurisdiction, right? And so I think people that support him are saying, how could it be insurrection? That would be them going against him. If it was insurrection in their minds.
In their minds.
Right? That they weren't going against him, they were actually taking his orders.
Yeah, because at that point he was still the president. But my rebuttal of that would be that he is the commander in chief of our military.
Right.
Not of citizens.
Right.
He's not a king.
Right. Right.
You feel that's what kings do. You command every subject. You do this. The president don't have that power. That's what makes this place so unique. The president can't even tell you what to do, really. Ideally, the president does not have that authority in America. You know what I mean? It's like he has power, of course, right? Powers that you as a regular citizen doesn't have, but he doesn't have that power that he could just off with your, you know what I'm saying? Off with your head. You know what I'm saying?
Along those lines, right? We're talking about the insurrection and people being corralled around a message and then taking action. We started this conversation talking about individual contributions, but even on a previous episode, we talked about people finding their tribes online.
Yeah.
So it goes from you being an individual contributor to you contributing in a certain way where there's a pattern established and people can find you. They can see your digital footprint. Oh, that person sounds like me. I like this person. Mm-hmm. We're going to connect online. Oh, here's a message board. Here's a group, right? So now
how them people got down there?
That's how they got down there, right? Because they were already engaging in that activity in those groups.
Correct.
So, as we talk about people entering into the space of, creating a digital footprint for themselves, finding your tribe online versus the people that you engage with in real life, so to speak, right? I think there's also there's a need for a discussion about that too, because you can get warped into a virtual world where all you see is what you already believe. And if what you believe is skewed, which I believe all of our viewpoints are skewed to some degree.
We all got a slant. Yeah. And you know what I mean? And everybody that, I'm glad you said that because I agree with that.
Yeah, because I think one of the things I've been thinking about, probably unpopular opinion, but it's mine. I think the gender war that's happening in the black community online right now, it's probably way worse than what hip hop has ever done. People blame hip hop for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the gender war that's happening between black men and black women online, I think it's something way worse for our community. I really do.
You got what's going on?
I mean, every day. I mean, you and I have a podcast, right? But I hear it every day. We need to burn podcasts, death to podcasts, because a lot of the topics are around what women should be doing, what men should be doing, female roles, male roles, marriage, who's a beneficiary of it, who is, who has a burden in the marriage at a higher rate, male or female. There's a lot of that.
A lot of that going on.
A lot of that.
See, I ain't tapping that. Yeah, you be hitting off for I ain't trying people. Nah, for real. But
it is. I mean, the whole, how much should you pay for a first date? Should the man pay all the bills?
Sure.
Should a woman be cooking and cleaning? I mean, I've seen topics of, there's this thing they say with married women that are really single when it comes to raising kids, where the father's not. Oh, wow. There's a lot of these subtopics, right? And people are finding their tribes, and what you'll find is that people will post a scenario, the comments will respond to the scenario, and it's right down the middle. Men on this side, women on that side.
You know what's wild too is, I often think about the possibility that the people that are opposing this stuff, even the people that's discussing this stuff, may not believe in nothing they talk about.
Facts.
But it's just the drive, the conversation, and the content. You know what I'm saying? I think that's
a new wave of, it's called faceless pages.
Yeah.
Where you create a page and you find a niche and you talk about that all day. And that's what some of these popular pages do. You don't know who's running the page.
And people seeking that out for whatever they're lacking, or like you said, they finding their tribe. And again, something that somebody is doing from a business standpoint, you know, they making money, blah, blah, blah now, but now you're showing up a certain way, and now you're taking these thoughts and you implementing them into your real life, right? And it's probably creating barriers for you. You know what I mean? You putting up walls around yourself. You know what I mean? That's so now people are not finding their mate. They're not finding, you know, stuff in real life. You know what I mean?
Because they're coming into a date or an encounter with the opposite sex with all these memes in the back of their heads. Yeah. And the reason why I compared it to hip hop, because people always say hip hop is destroying our community, right? Which, you know, wherever you fall on that's where you fall on that. But I do believe that when you listen to music, it has an influential power, but at the same time, I think a lot of us recognize it's entertainment. Yeah. I don't think in these conversations online, there's no music in the background making you dance. Yeah, man. You're in a very serious mode when you see this meme and you looking at the comments and you taking sides on it. Yeah. Yeah. You know?
Good point. No, I do.
I think music, when the music cuts off, you go back to who you are.
Sure. Or change the song.
You change the song, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think there's some boundaries with music that are not in the place when you're talking about serious discussion.
Yeah, and it's like I always use the Voltaire quote of, those that can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Yeah. And so a lot of times if you believe in that, like you're invested in this thing that may not be real, like that's a very dangerous thing. Man. You know, and the person a lot of times that we commit those atrocities towards really is ourselves. You know what I'm saying? When we're believing in things that aren't real and you're trying to almost like recreate something that never existed anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or you holding on to some idea that's not right. I mean, you right out now. I'm thinking now you're getting more conscious of what you meant. I thought about what popped in my head immediately was that situation when we're about the girl saying, you know, the dude tried to take her to Cheesecake Factory.
Yes, those sort of every day, all day.
I saw the thing the other day where a dude took her to, like, I think they were in Detroit, and he took her to a Pistons game. But
she was sitting way up.
Yeah. I was like, dang. Yeah. Like, dang, man. Like, what is it like? Not like use the term regular, but like, yo, like, what if that guy spent as much as he could spend? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
It's to the point now where they got these conversations where you shouldn't even be dating if you don't make a certain amount of money, and you shouldn't even be trying to have an interest in anybody.
That's a lot. That's wild, man.
Yeah. Or, you know, if you've got kids already, specifically talking about women, that you shouldn't even be trying to pursue no other men, that you just off the block now.
Really?
It's a lot of that going on. Yeah, a lot of
even
those
if she's 30.
She 30. She got 2 or 3 kids.
Yeah,
she can't.
Wow. Her life over.
That's what this is. I mean, it's people. They have those perspectives, right? I mean, it runs the gamut. Anti-women, anti-men, anti-kids, you name it, right?
Yeah.
But I think, again, people are finding their tribes, right? Then you got the opposite where you got women defending men and men defending women. They call them pick-me's because they want people to pick them. Like, I'm defending you, pick me.
Really?
So it's a lot of that going on.
You went deep. Yeah,
nah, you just behind.
The pick me, you put me on, but that's why we got friends, man, to help you grow, man.
So I mean, it's a lot of that. I mean, but
I gotta for real.
It's a lot of that.
Nah, that's crazy. But bro, I think, man, the world. I mean, we knew that we would evolve here. We're going further. We're going into AI and virtual reality and all that, right? So I think we're gonna go deeper into that. And I do want to encourage people to continue to look to engage with people in like real life. You know what I'm saying? I think we gotta
online will make you look at your friends differently. Yeah. You have friends that you hate their presence online, but you love being with them in person.
I'm telling you, I got a few people I love to be around in person, but they show up online. I'm like, oh, what is he doing?
Yeah,
seriously, or her, you know, for real. But I think that because people can kind of. You might got people who might be authentic in person, but they have a persona online. You know what I mean? You know?
And if it benefits you to do that, if you're making money
Yeah,
from
bro.
it, whatever.
Yeah.
Again, putting aside morality lines,
Sure.
obviously, like
That's right.
if it's
Integrity and stuff like that.
that's I'm not even considering that. If you're making money from a space where you're within the boundaries of integrity and morality, I can see how it makes sense, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of people are not benefiting from it, and they still showing up in this way that's like
man.
just totally different.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things, bro, like I've been I watched this movie, bro. Oh man, I can't even think of the name of the jump. It won the Oscars the other day. German film about the Holocaust and how this family, right, a SS, commandant, commandant for the Third Reich or whatever, that ran the jump. It's about his family. He ran Auschwitz. They lived, you know what I'm saying? Like their backyard, there was the wall of the concentration camp, and it don't never you see the smoke. They make references to the smell or the ashes blowing, but it's not. It never go inside the camp. As far as the camp, it never. You know what I mean? And this family created this life. I mean, you're talking about millions of people got killed in your backyard, and you was completely oblivious to it. And it make you think about for all the reasons. You know what I mean? It's nice big house, prestige. You know what I'm saying? Lord, they raising kids, they growing food, because everything about their house is life. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 or 5 children, they growing every vegetable and flowers. It's all of that from a cinematic standpoint. It's strong imagery. You got all this life right here, but it's destruction, and you turn a blind eye to it, right? And I've been thinking about the film. It's actually based on a true story of the dude who they wind up catching him after the war. You know what I'm saying? He go to trial and he talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They even got a joint where he was like, they talking about how 4 million people died at Auschwitz or 3 million or whatever. But mind you, he was really efficient. He ran the joint. So he was like, nah, we only killed 2.5 million of them. Everybody else died from disease. Like, are you dumb? You understand? But that's his mind. You see what I'm saying?
He was processing it like
that wasn't his fault. But the point I'm making about the movie is relates to what we talking about, like in our relationships with people, and even like in our broader community. Like, bruh, when you see people in need, like when you see things going on, you cannot just be so much in your world and what you want and what you need and how, that you don't say something or do something. You understand what I'm saying? And that was like a microcosm of like, I took that and like their family was a microcosm of Germany at that time. If you let people make you believe that certain people are not worthy and they need to be removed, we need to be rid,
just
they the source of our problem, just cancel them.
Yeah.
I'm saying you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, right, that's an atrocity. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm not trying to trivialize or compare. Like that was one of the greatest atrocities in the history of mankind, what happened at the Holocaust. But what I am saying is that I pull so much from that movie that we can never do that.
And that's what films are for. Even if
bro,
it's telling a story, it's also giving you a message within your life too.
And clearly, and not even to make, but I also, it was impossible, and like literally impossible to not think of. And the day before I watched it, not thinking of the people in Gaza, and particularly like during Ramadan, and the Palestinian people and what they're going through. You know what I'm saying? It's like in a lot of ways, I just feel like sometimes like the world is just sitting by. Like we that family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some people just going along with life, and I know it's not so like simple. Like what can you, like for something like for like what can we do? You know what I'm saying? But it's like we gotta learn from the past though. That's what I'm saying. Like we have to learn from the past. Like yo, like you know, and I know part of coming out of the Holocaust, like a lot of the march was like never again. But for the Jewish community, but I'm it's like it has to be like never again for the human community. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's not about if those are your people, if it's happening to you, it has to be
nobody.
Yeah,
Nobody.
Nobody. You can't do that, bro. But the movie is I'm gonna look that up because I definitely think that it's certainly worth a watch for everybody. I mean, it's a powerful piece, bro. Oscar for I remember it won the Oscar for best sound because it's also what's crazy about the sound is you got regular dialogue. But then you hear like again, their house is next to Auschwitz, so you're hearing the gunshots, you hearing people screaming, but it's like it's not like right in the shot, it's like in the distance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, it's like it's called the nerve. Hold on, it ain't coming up. But yeah, dog, check it out, man.
Okay.
It's an incredible film, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, again, another good discussion about another good topic.
I hope that don't get me canceled too.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, just because these are like topics that but yeah, for sure, bro.
But
some things gotta be we gotta say it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of being responsible, but being authentic and being considerate of other people. That whole, I guess, cocktail, those three things, right?
Sure.
And just understanding that we are in this world now where it's only going to get broader and broader, and the reach is only going to get further and further. So the very small things that we say could end up going way further than we think. And on a positive note, that should encourage us to measure how we speak, because if you speak life into the atmosphere,
Right.
it can go a long way.
I know it.
So be careful about how you use your voice. Your voice can be an instrument or it can be a weapon.
Come on, man.
And I'll give you a quick example. If we on the train and a person pulls out a violin, even if they're the worst violin player in the world, you're going to give them a moment to get themselves together. They might be able to pull the strings together and make it sound at least tolerable. But if a person pull a gun out on the train, you're not getting that chance. People are either running or they're attacking in response. So when your voice becomes a weapon, people not going to give you no leeway. But if it's an instrument, people will give you a chance. So that's something to think about for those out there that are typing and tweeting and quoting all that stuff. Make sure when you type that it's being a instrument and not a weapon.
Pastor Grant. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Amen to that.
Amen.
Real talk.
Well, again, thank y'all for always listening and watching and leaving comments and talking to us in person about the conversations we have. We appreciate the support. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. Heart of the City.
Heart of the City.
Peace.